Alright, so part 4 of my Build a Forum video series. So we're still working on the forum index page, getting our categories and everything to work. We're getting close to being done with the index page itself. So yeah, so something that I want to point out is in an earlier video, I think it was part 2 or 3, I said that we're going to use some images right next to our information right here. I have created a simple image. It's right here. Just real simple. Kind of looks like a standard forum image a little bit. I just created it real quick in Photoshop. And it will be with the download packages on the source code page from this video and on. So this is just the default image that it'll show. Later on I will probably create other images. And yeah. So what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make it so that image shows up on the page. So we're going to go to our forum page here, and down here where we have our div class name and all that stuff, I'm going to put the image right here. So we're going to put in image tags, and the source is the site root / images / forum / default.png. And the width is 50 pixels and the height is 50 pixels as well. So you may want to resize it down. You can use it by you can change the height by the width and height, sorry, by just adding a width and height attribute. Now I need to, let's see, hang on. Okay, yeah, so we have the image set in the database as default, but I'm going to change it in the database to default.png. Also, while I'm in here, I'm going to change the last user to basixnick. Whoops. Because we're also going to work on displaying all of that information. So the last user is basixnick, and the last date will be December. Whoops. December. I think today's like the 21st. 2010. So that'll be the last date. The total topics will change to 1. Total posts will change to 1. And we'll hit enter to enter that information. And I thought of something else, which I will get to in a minute once we have everything working. So we have our image here, and I'm going to change this image, the default.png, to a variable called image. And right here where we have cat description, cat row, I'm going to duplicate the line, and I'm going to get the image out of the database, and I'm going to rename it to cat_image, which means this image variable needs to be cat image. So if we upload our forum page, and after a couple of seconds, if we refresh, you can see we now have this image being displayed on the page. Now the image is a little bit big, so we're going to size it down, and also we need to make it so our information will be next to it instead of below it. So to do that, what we want to do is I'm going to set a, well, yeah, I'm going to set a style on the image. So style equals, and I'm going to say float, and we're going to float it to the left, which means all of this information needs to be floated to the left as well. So I'm going to put all this stuff inside of another div, and I'm going to say float style of float left. And then we need to end the div. So what that's going to do is it's going to push everything up right next to each other and make it look a lot nicer. So if we just refresh, you can see we now have our stuff here. But since this information is being floated, what we need to do is, after this, we need to put in div class equals clear. I think I've already created this class in an earlier video, and that's just essentially setting a style of clear both. Yeah, it's already there. So we have this here now, but our image is a little bit big, so it's giving us a lot of extra space in here that we don't want. So what we're going to do is we're going to size the image down, and we're also going to apply a margin space on the image to kind of kick everything else over a little bit. So, or actually, we're going to apply a margin space on the other information. So, margin tack left, and let's go with 20 pixels should be good. Actually, let's go with 15 pixels. And on our image, we're going to apply another style of, or not a style, sorry. We're going to apply a width attribute, so width equals, and also a height attribute, so height equals. And since it's 50 by 50 pixels, I'm going to size it down to 35 pixels, and then I'm going to see what that looks like. So we upload the forum page, and we refresh. So you see we have a lot smaller of an image, still a little bit too small, but our information is being kicked over as well. So I'm actually going to size this up to 40, and we'll probably leave it at 40. So if we refresh, so our image is a little bit bigger. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick with 40 pixels for now. But what we're also going to do later on is make it so once you can either click on the image or you can click on the text to for the link to go to that category, which we'll work on in a little bit. Now the next thing we're going to work on is in forums. In most forums, you would have something like topics, post, and last post or last user post, and that's why we have that information in the database. Is because we're going to display that on the right side of our boxes. So what we need to do is we need to scroll up to where we have our forum name being displayed, and we need to put in a div. Now our div is going to have a style quite extensive, but later on we're going to move it to a class and change this. But this is just so we just have to upload a single file to be testing everything. So the first style we're going to apply is a float style, and we're going to float this to the right. Now the reason we're going to do this is because we want all of our information being over on the right side. So we're going to float it to the right. I'm also going to add in the div class equals clear, and that's so it won't mess anything up. So yeah, so inside of here we're going to have topics, and then we're going to have posts, and the reason I'm putting this on different lines is because it'll look cleaner in code, but when it's displayed on the web page itself, it'll all be in a single line. After that, we're also going to have last poster, I guess, for now. Maybe change that later. But just as a proof of concept, if we upload that and refresh, wasn't done uploading, and refresh, still not done apparently. Okay, there we go. So now we have this text over here, and everything's working. But you can see that it kind of messes up the flow of everything in here. So we need to actually apply the clear after our forum name. That's the problem. So if we re-upload that and refresh, you can see it fixes the problem. So we have our topics, post, and last poster all the way on the other side there to make it look kind of nice and everything. So now what we need to do is we need to kind of like space everything out to make it so we can show our information below it and have spacing and everything. So to do that, what we're going to do is each of our pieces of text, we're going to put them in a div. And we're going to put a style on them. And for now, that's all we're going to do. And I'll explain why in a minute. Because each of these are going to have styles of some kind. The topics and posts are going to have the same style, the exact same styles. And the last poster is going to have a different style because it's going to have more content in the code itself. So the first style we want to put on our topics is a width. So we're going to say width of 55 pixels. That should be good. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want to space everything out. And yeah, so we're going to apply a width of 55 pixels for the post as well. And on the last poster area, we're going to apply a width of 225 pixels. And that's because that's going to have the most content in it itself, so it needs more space. Next thing we're going to do for our topics and posts, we're going to have a text tac align attribute, and that's just going to make it so we can center our text. So put this on post as well. And for now, if we just upload this and refresh, you can see everything's spaced out and everything, but obviously it's messing everything up. And the reason is because in the styles for our main area, we're going to apply a display value, and we're going to say block. So just by simply applying that single attribute, it fixes that problem right there, or at least it should. Oh, I know why. This clear doesn't need to be below there. It needs to be inside of here. And then we need to, on each of our pieces of information, I guess, we need to apply a float of left. So after doing that, upload and refresh. So you can see right there, it fixed the problem. So our topics and our posts are everything's being like aligned properly, sort of. But what I'm going to do is on each of these, I'm also going to apply padding. So padding, tac left, and I'm going to apply padding of 10 pixels. I'm going to copy it, paste it on there. I'm also going to apply a padding on the right side of 10 pixels. And that's just to space everything out just a little bit more, to make it look a little bit nicer. So we're also going to apply our left padding on the bottom one there, on our last poster content, and also the right padding. Okay, so by looking at this, I can tell that there's a little bit of a problem here because there's too much space here, and oh, there it is. That quotation mark shouldn't be there. It should be all the way over here. So I'm fixing that. Whoops. Refresh, and it centers that there to make it look a lot nicer. So below these, we're going to have our total topics, our total post, and the last poster information, which is going to be the person who posted, possibly a link to the post. I haven't decided on that, and also yeah, and the date that it was posted. So I'm gonna stop this video here. In the next video, we will align all of that information, and yeah. All right, so check out the next video.